Welcome back to This Week at Windsor, folks. Dr. J, thanks for coming along.
Great to be here. How you going, Arden?
Joining me in your office.
Yes. We got video now.
Bam.
I know. Two in a row.
Century 21 Fox, whatever they call themselves these days. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of tech involved.
As you can tell,
massive
state
budgets.
of the art. So many cores. I think we can never get out of here. Yeah, great to be here. It's May Mission Month here at Windsor District Baptist Church, and we're really excited to have one of our missionaries on joining us today, Joey Millard. Welcome. Great to see you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here with you guys.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about, I mean, I know where you are, but tell us where you are, who you're with, what's your mission?
I live in northern Japan in a town called Ishinomaki. We're church planting here and working with youth and trying to see God raise up a generation of disciples. Disciples who make disciples is what we really want to see. I have 5 kids and we're excited to be here and see what God does here.
Where's your accent from, Joey?
I grew up here, so I don't American. I don't know.
Because you don't sound Californian like Dr. J.
Well, you did grow up you spent a fair bit of time in Oregon, is that correct?
Yeah, I went to a couple of years of middle school, high school, and stuff in Oregon.
How did you end up in Japan?
My parents were missionaries, and I grew up here as a missionary kid. When I was 5 years old, I remember getting on my knees and praying to God. I said, God, I believe you, but I will never be a missionary and never to Japan. God has his way of getting back at us and ended up here.
I've been to Japan several times and I absolutely love it. I would go back in an instant because I still haven't seen everything I'd like to see there. It's such an incredible place. And also a very black and white place, a place of stark contrast in terms of history and technology and culture and being cut off from the world. In my very limited experiences of Japan, it also seems to be a very dark place spiritually. Is it a hard place to kind of get a little bit of light in?
Yeah, you're right. I think there is a hesitancy or a resistance from people spiritually. That they will be nice to you, they will talk to you, they'll give you gifts. But as soon as you try to go a little deeper, a lot of people pull up their walls and, so we do definitely see that. And there's spiritual darkness here that we hope to shine Jesus' light in.
So tell us a bit about that journey. I mean, most people don't know is that you and I go back a long way. So I actually knew you before you had decided to go back and become a missionary. I think at one point we were both going to be in politics. Look how that turned out. Although some might say ministry and politics are too far off. But here we are in ministry. Tell us a bit about that journey, like from your 5-year-old self. God, I believe you, but I'm not going to do this. To here you are, you're raising your family there, and you're trying to bring that light.
I still probably am very stubborn, and I stubbornly decided that I would not be a missionary, and I held firmly to that belief. I always believed in Jesus in my head, did the actions. We had to go to church, that kind of thing I did. But I was always the hypocrite in the back row. When I was in America as a high schooler, I knew the Bible better than the youth pastor. And I'd sit in the back and condemn everybody. And if me and Jesus were okay, that's all I really cared about. And it's actually Jonathan and a few of my other friends at college, or uni, as you guys say, that really transformed my life. People who are intellectually smart, but also really love Jesus in community. That's really when God started working in my heart and life. It got me to question, what gifts has God given me? And how was I going to be faithful to what God has given me? And those kind of questions and those kind of experiences with community really drew me back to Japan. And that's the short version of how I got back here.
Is Japan home now, or is the US still home?
Probably Japan now. Yeah.
How long has it been?
After seminary, it's been almost 20 years. Yeah. So, and I've grown up here, so yeah.
Now, you said you're in northern Japan, Ishinomaki. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's an amazing memory.
We all have our gifts. Yeah. I'm not saying Japanese pronunciation is one of mine, but it was a strategic move Am I right? Because there was a bit of a disaster in that area. Was it a natural disaster or like how did you end up where you are in Japan?
So I was church planting in Tokyo, and the earthquake and tsunami in 2011 happened, and we were taking our church members and our non-Christian friends to volunteer up here to serve the community, and we were, trying to share Jesus's love as we served in the community here, and we were just having great encounters and spiritual conversations with people that we were like. I said to our church's prayer group, I was like, we need somebody to move up. And it ended up being my wife and I who moved up here. But yeah, we moved up here 12 years ago. And
Wow.
yeah, it's been a great place. A lot different than the hustle and bustle of Tokyo. But
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
I was in Tokyo on one of the trips, and I can't remember the name of the park, but I think the hotel next to it was the new Otani Hotel, I think it was. There was a
Mhm.
massive park next to it, and one morning I just went for a walk through the park, and in the middle of the park there was just this tiny little church, just like almost like a little cabin, and there was
Wow.
some American guy kind of preaching to just this little crowd, maybe I don't know, 20 people, just in the middle of this park in this huge city. It was really cool.
Wow.
Very cool.
There you
Yeah.
go. You grew up in Japan, but obviously you have this American influence. Do you struggle with Japanese people? Do they see you as an outsider who's bringing this message in? Do they see you as an insider? Like, how do you go relating to the culture of the country you grew up in, but you having also spent so much time in America and being the children of missionaries and so forth?
There is definitely a outsider aspect, just even looking like I do.
Mm.
So even up here, people will comment, "Oh, your Japanese is very good," all the time. Um, which is I have no problem with it. But I think in terms of ministry and relating to people, it is just really building relationships, living life together, and earning that trust to be able to speak my story, pointing to Jesus well for them. Has been our experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Arden is a missionary kid. You're a missionary kid, so I'm outnumbered here today. But
We
uh,
can communicate telepathically.
I'm sorry, Joey, for whatever's coming your way in that case. You said you got five children. How do they view what you do? And is it kind of something that you pass down to them to say, hey, this is who we are as a people, and you encourage them to take up that mantle, or is this just kind of a mom and dad thing, and just raise them to love Jesus and he'll take them where?
Oh yeah, we definitely want our kids to love Jesus, and if you love Jesus and are following Jesus, whatever he's called you to do, whether it be a doctor or mother, whatever it is, we're very cool with it. We're very happy that they're actively involved in what we're doing so far. My older two are 15 and 13. They're on the worship team, help with the youth group, things like that. And it's pretty embarrassing or funny how you take it. But on Sunday, after I preach, we do communion. My boys get into the racing position to try to see who can get the crackers and grape juice first. So they are,
Pastor's kids, man.
yeah, they're pastor's kids. So, but yeah, well, I hope that we won't mess them up that much, but we're excited for where they are right now.
How big's the church up there?
Uh, right now we'll have any depends on the week, but anywhere from 10 to 20 local people. Yeah, it just depends.
Yep.
One of the exciting things that we've seen, we do a youth church on Saturday nights. And
Mm.
that's actually been more exciting for us in a lot of ways. We've been averaging 15 to 20 non-Christians come every week.
Wow.
And we do have games and fun, but we have a worship time, we have a message, we have small groups, and they still keep coming. So we're hoping that we are seeing God, plant seeds, water seeds, and help them to grow. So yeah.
What from a cultural perspective? Obviously the message of Christ stays the same. No matter where you are around the world, the message is
Mhm.
the same. But from a cultural perspective, what have you found sort of works to kind of break into the Japanese culture, to kind of find that chink in the armor where you can sort of speak into someone Japanese about the joy that is Christ?
Yeah, it's a really hard question. I think, one of the biggest felt needs is love and
Mm.
acceptance. But one of the things that I think I've been seeing and learning is that what people are saved with is what they grow as. So
Mm.
if they come to faith just because of love. Then if they don't need love, they don't come anymore. But really getting people to see the glory of God and how much He has really loved us and our sinfulness. I think the whole gospel applied to people is really the ultimate key. But we've seen different things work in different areas, different, seasons of people's lives. One of the things that we've been excited about is trying to reach couples
Mm,
through marriage seminar. Japan too, marriage is in the pits.
mm.
All marriages, marriage is not easy, but speaking the gospel into marriages and seeing the power of God work in people's lives, I do believe will be a key to reaching. We want to see, whole families come to know Jesus. So,
Because the birth
yeah,
rate over there is really plummeting too, isn't it?
yeah, it's horrifying how bad it is.
Wow. It's great to you guys must stand out just as just really stark and different and yeah, what a breath of fresh air. That's great to hear that many people coming non-Christian on a Sunday night. And we yeah, that idea that what you win them with is what you keep them with is really true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an important thing. You ever think about coming to Australia for a visit?
Oh, I'd love to. Here it's a great place.
As long as you stay away from people from Bathurst, you'll be fine.
We're the best ones. We're the best, the true Australians.
Before we let you go, Joey, the two stories that we got to touch on. One is I want you to tell me if I'm still right. You taught me. I don't know if you remember this. You taught me. This is before I met Joanna. Before I knew I was dating anyone. You taught me a Japanese pickup line, and I want to see if I've stored it correctly in my memory for all these years, so I can use it on my watch. Do you remember this? Dude, do you remember this?
No, not really.
All right.
He looks so nervous.
So anyway, I'm gonna say it, and you tell me if I'm remotely close.
See how many cultures we can offend at once.
How many marriages we can hurt? No. All right, here we go. It's let's see if I can remember right. I think you said it was mega kire desu ne.
Oh, very good. Your eyes are beautiful.
Hey!
Yeah.
Beautiful eyes.
There you go. All the times I've said that to my wife,
Remember.
it wasn't wasted.
Yeah.
The second one, just going back to your story, this just cracked me up. I may have used it once or twice in a counseling session, but you used to say how you'd sit at the back and you'd judge people and whatnot. I remember when we showed up for freshman orientation, and your parents had put you into this this wilderness experience beforehand. Can you tell us a bit about that journey and maybe the impact of that transition from high school into uni?
I went to Wheaton just to kind of please my parents. Didn't really expect much. My dad was like, I signed you up for this camp. I was like, okay. I was like, volleyball in the afternoons. And I even had quarters to do laundry with. We get in the bus. Bus gets there at like 4 a.m. or something. They're like, pack your bags. You're not coming back for 2 weeks. And we're trekking around in the wilderness. But yeah, it was a interesting experience.
Did I think you told me at the time you'd been a pretty heavy smoker in high school.
Oh yeah. So it was detoxing and everything.
Coming off nicotine,
Coming
all the
off-
jangling quarters attracting bears.
Yeah, it was a very unique experience.
Yeah, but what would you say? I bring that up because I remember hearing that first time. We all showed up, we're crying as we hug our parents goodbye. This guy gets off the bus like he's been with Bear Grylls for 3 weeks. Anyway, but we got some young people who are like, they're in that transition phase, right? They're trying to figure out who they are. They're late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, and I just remember seeing such a transformation in you and in your life. So I'm curious, as someone who's sensitive to the needs of young people, someone with his own journey and experience, what would you say to a young person who's maybe grown up around Jesus and is familiar with the lingo, can quote the Bible stories and the Bible verses, but is still perhaps trying to figure out what it looks like for them to relate to him? Like, how would you encourage somebody to find their way who's in that season of life?
That's a great question. I would say first, probably, I think it's Colossians 3, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another. I think, wisdom, something like that. It goes like something like that. But we need to hear from Jesus individually. And in Luke, the road to Emmaus, when they heard Jesus speaking to them, in English, I can't, his words burned in their hearts,
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of the phrase, I think. But anyway, we need to experience Jesus, and his word needs to speak to us, especially as young people. Get into the habit of hearing from Jesus, being in awe of him every day. Not just, I know the story, but Jesus, speak to my heart. And that, and finding great community people who will not pull you away from Jesus, but people who will point you to Jesus and challenge you and admonish you to be in his presence more. So I think those two things are what I would definitely encourage anybody, but especially young people. Pursue it. Spend money, spend your time to find people who will really pull you towards Jesus. That's what I would say.
I think we should organise a mission trip to Japan just to head up there and check it out.
I think we should. I think we
Yeah,
should.
definitely would love to.
Yeah. You up for some cultural imperialism?
Because we're coming.
I shouldn't say that. I really shouldn't say that. Yeah, no. Hey, pulpit's open, man. Come on down. We need to hear that message too. We'd love to. Would love to have you and the family. I need to spend more time getting to know your family. That would be a real delight.
Yeah.
Well, that was an awesome catch up.
Yeah, it was great.
Thanks for coming along, Joey, all the way from northern Japan. At least summer's on the way.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
And thanks, Dr. J, once again.
Yeah, great to be with you again.
Did you have fun?
Always have fun.
Let's do it again next week.
Sounds good. See you.